Good morning, traders. Paul here with GammaEdge. Today is Thursday, the 30th of March. Let's get started. Pause your players here. Read to the very bottom. If you agree, hit that play button. Summary for today, we flipped again to an upside trigger day. This has a positive expectation for being a good trade. We use the 2x ETFs on SSO, QLD, UWM, and DDM to move to the upside. This is if you don't want to trade options and if you don't want to play gamma, but you want to learn the cumulative tick model, good way to do it. Here's your upside profit targets. Here are your average drawdowns and worst case drawdowns, MD, maximum drawdown 95, which is your right tail, worst case 4.7 and 3.5 respectively. This is open to close, so you would have an idea of being able to grind higher here. Long term, we are still in a downtrend, although some of this is under pressure, so just be aware of that. Market breadth, as viewed by our 52-week new high, new low indicator, had the new lows still outpacing the new highs, but it's getting better. And if we continue this over the next couple days, we will probably flip the bottle and we'll go green. So we'll see where we are. 3,842 are the left and right goalposts for the SPX. That is unchanged. We are mindful of this 4,000, 4,005 range. That is a multi-time frame transition. As long as we stay above that, we should continue to grind north. 4050 is a big number, but we want to make sure everyone is aware, especially on context of last night's open mic discussion. The 4065 is being neutralized. And we could push higher. Why this is a big deal is because it is the JPM strike, and there are a lot of short calls sitting there, but we're seeing a lot of long calls go in and just pound it into the ground. 4,000 and 39.50 remain the downside areas to watch. We would be paper short from the 39.95 because, of course, nothing here is a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Just paper trade only, folks. Positive charm environment today continues. Same thing with Vanna, by the way, as long as we stay below 40.90 or 40.65. And into the JPM roll on 331. So today and tomorrow, we're still anticipating this grind upwards. Zero DTE traders, we have a lot of them in the Discord. We're mindful of these different levels that I've indicated here. Watch the 4040 and the 4050s. We break that 4050, that does release us to move towards that 4065, and then there's some stuff up, even it's minor, but it'll grow. As the bulls become emboldened up at 4080. So just be aware of that. And of course, the upper target for short-term plus GEX on the PM structure is 4100. SPY, Qs, and IWM are as indicated. Taking a look at the overall market model, you can see the cumulative tick has now moved up into what we call the ribbon. We're going to get a slope change because of that. We've got a trigger day that's occurring when you get the railroad track. I know I'm using a lot of vernacular that may be foreign to folks here, but we get a railroad track up pattern here. We get the CT closing higher, and now we're actually going to have a slope change. And this back tests extremely well as an entry signal. Could be short-lived. But nevertheless, don't get out over your skis. But every trade begins as a day trade. If it works in your favor, then you move into a progressive exposure. So today would be one of those days we would be mindful of continuing to add to our long positions. Looking at the E-minis, here's what we're looking at. We've had a movement up in some of the levels as indicated. Short-term bearish, actually, when we see some divergences that we're seeing here. But nevertheless, price is moving up, of course. Grinding up on the overnight futures. And, frankly, when we see minus GEX come up, it's people positioning those puts to actually take advantage of the convexity to the downside. So there is insurance that is being purchased, and it's fairly close. It was at 38, and now it's coming up now to 39. And so people are starting to play some of the downside, and you buy insurance when you don't need it, and here we go. Taking a look at the gamma levels, green is indicative of increased calls, positive calls. We are mindful that minus GEX is indicated on the PM complex, the PM settled complex at 4065. That's because short calls look like long puts for the same tenor. What that means is you should be looking down here at the next negative number, LG2, 3950. So this is not liquid. It is real. Certainly it is real, but it is not liquid. And so 3950 would become our downside goalpost there. In the PM complex, to the upside, 4050 is the dominant, and it will continue to grow here in the short-term sense. Expected move, open, high-low close, conservative number. We produce this for our premium sellers. And so for our premium sellers, anything above the 4,100 and anything down below 39.55 or so should be safe, knowing, of course, what we just talked about over here. Taking a look at the PM complex, we've got a massive change from yesterday. First of all, I think this is important. So first of all, the short calls that are coming off tomorrow with the roll are just being pounded into the ground by new long calls that are going in. I want everyone to be mindful of that. If we pound those short calls into submission, that does create a path north. And you can see for the PM complex, which we view as the tradable complex, it's very liquid, moves quite fast, changes quite dynamically. You can see that we got a sea of green above us, which is out of the money call speculators, and a sea of green below us, which are the put speculators having vaporized, right? This is all in the money calls now, all the way on down here to 38.75. So we're in really good shape here. Do want to note 34% of the SPX PM complex gamma is coming off tomorrow, and that's a big number. And you'll see that here on the 1 DTE. Taking a look at the 0 DTE, transition sitting here. Here's that 4,000 so this is what expires today. Fairly good number over here at 200,000 contracts. This is pointing north. This is actually suggestive of today that 40.50, which we said is a big number, we could push north here. Knowing, of course, that people will continue to pound the JPM into the ground. That does suggest that the contributions from the 0 DTE will start stalling at this 40.75, 40.80 level. Be mindful of that. Taking a look at the 1 DTE, here's the transition. We're above it. That's good. Here's that 40.65, which is that JPM. Down here at that 40 or 39.50, you can see there's virtually nothing down there. This is tomorrow, right? This is what is coming off the complex tomorrow. This is a huge expiry for the quarterly. Just be aware of this, right? A lot of calls coming off. When we see a lot of calls coming off below us, that can weaken us. So just be aware that after this gets done tomorrow, into next week, the bulls are going to have to really step up, and they're going to have to improve their game to replace these out-of-the-money calls that are here. We do think that an upper limit contributions that we're seeing between the 0 and the 1 DTE are limited to about a 105, 110 area. We don't think we're going any higher than that, even if we do push north, and there's a lot of reasons. We covered them last night in the open mic on the concerning charm flows, and just looking at Vanna flows, it's not supportive of going much north there. Taking a look next week, our crystal ball view, 4,100 is clearly in the crosshairs. 39.35 is to the low side right now. Here's that 39.50. Here's the transition for next week. The thing that is really distinguishing this is that we've got nothing but a sea of green above us. Now, this is good, right? So this is a constructive environment to support low volatility. But remember, these are expiries for next week, so they will start to erode as we get into Monday, Tuesday, and beyond. Remember, it's a 4-day week next week. And so what happens is if the bulls and the out-of-the-money speculators do not continue to think they're going to go north, then the in-the-money puts will start to dominate, and that will be an upper limit to our progress. So just be aware, we are seeing the potential to move north, but this will vaporize. They will be in place until they're not. And that's an important statement. I want everyone to make sure that you're internalizing that. Taking a look at the combo, which is both the AM settled and the PM settled complex. A couple things worth noting. So here's the JPMs that are coming off tomorrow. They are just almost neutralized here, right? This is 40-some thousand contracts on the short side, and then we're just pounding them into the ground. So over 30,000 long calls are sitting on top of those, basically negating both the delta and the gamma that we have here. Still negative gamma, no question about it, but the deltas are now within range. It's not a huge number that we're seeing here, and if we start seeing this flip over to a green side, which is very possible, meaning that the call speculators are really starting to win the battle, we could easily start moving up, and that would open up the door to this 40.95 and 4100 that we've been talking about. Transition sitting right here is a little bit lower, right? So 39.80 to 4,005, something to be mindful of. We are also mindful of the development. We noted this yesterday. We're seeing the secondary transition develop down here at 39.15 to 39.25. If the bears rear their head and start to win the battle, and we start seeing the call speculators vaporize up here, and we start seeing more puts come in down here, this would be a natural target once this one fails. We saw this a couple weeks ago, and we're mindful of this again. So just be aware that if you want to play out a little bit of time, again, paper trading, this could be the development area for another lower transition as the market reverses, if it reverses in a couple weeks. Final chart here, plus GEX 4200 as indicated, 3800 here. Here are the JPMs. They're obviously getting bigger because they roll tomorrow. 4,000 strikes sitting right here. Transition sitting here very clean at 4,000, 4,005. Here's that lower transition that's developing. And so obviously if we break this, then that starts opening the door and it will embolden the bears to the downside. We are mindful of just the overall magnitudes that you see here. They're all in contention for plus GEX. We actually like to see this go the other direction where people would be targeting 4,300. They're not doing that. So this could be short-lived. This could be short-lived 0 and 1 DTE speculation to the upside. So just be mindful that 42, 41, 4,075 and 4050 are all in play as possible upside levels that we may not break above. And you can see as the gamma gets larger and larger in these areas, it could be fairly significant and become resistance, overhead resistance. So that's it for today. If you have any questions or comments, come join us at GammaEdge.us. Go to this webpage, upper right-hand corner, pricing tab, click on it, fill out the blanks, choose your plan, come on in, 14-day free trial. All the tools turned on. Great group of traders. About 20 to 30% of the membership is in voice at any one given time, and just talking about what they're seeing. It's actually a great place, great community, and I'm appreciative to everyone who participates there. Twitter, GammaEdges with the S, and then here on YouTube, two things. If you like today's content, smash that like button because it gives me immediate feedback that I'm providing something that you find actionable. And two, subscribe because Taylor and I try to post 2 videos a day and give you an idea of what we're seeing, how we play it, etc. So with that, I bid you farewell. Make it a great Thursday. Do not get out over your skis, and we hope to see you in the Discord. Thanks, everyone.